He laughed at her battle scars, until she showed him the collection of dog tags. The cantina on Proxima Station buzzed with the usual mix of traitors, mercenaries, and spacers from across the galaxy. Commander Sarah Chen sat alone at the bar, nursing a synthetic whiskey that tasted nothing like Earth's bourbon but burned just the same. The scars on her left arm caught the neon light, pale lines that crisscrossed her dark skin like a roadmap of violence. "What happened there, human?" The voice belonged to a Catherian, his blue-scaled face twisted in what passed for amusement among his species. "Did you fall into a food processor?" His companions, a hulking Borgath and two sleek Villani, chittered their laughter. The Catherian's eyes gleamed with malicious humor as he gestured at Sarah's exposed forearm. "I've heard humans are soft, but this is pathetic. My hatchlings receive worse scratches during playfighting." Sarah turned slowly, her brown eyes meeting the alien's golden ones. She didn't speak, didn't rise to the bait. She'd heard worse from better creatures than this one. "The great human warriors," the Catherian continued, emboldened by her silence. "Legends speak of your species' prowess in battle, but look at you. Scarred by what? Kitchen accidents? Your own clumsiness?" The bar had grown quieter. Other patrons, including several species who'd fought alongside humans in the Dominion Wars, watched with growing tension. They knew something the Catherian didn't. Sarah finished her drink and set the glass down with deliberate care. When she spoke, her voice was steady, conversational. "You want to know about these scars? Oh, please enlighten us," the Catherian sneered. "Tell us how the mighty human acquired such impressive wounds." Sarah rolled up her sleeve further, revealing more of the intricate pattern of scars. "This one," she pointed to a jagged line near her elbow, "came from shrapnel when the Resolute took a direct hit from Zephyrian plasma cannons. I was pulling my communications officer out of the wreckage when the bulkhead exploded." The Catherian's expression faltered slightly, but he pressed on. "One scar, one story. What about the rest?" "This cluster here," Sarah traced 3 parallel lines. "What happened on Zirion Prime. Zephyrian Warbeast caught me while I was covering a civilian evacuation. 60,000 refugees made it to the transports. I made sure of it." She pointed to another mark. "This burn? That's from when I held a breached reactor core together with my bare hands, long enough for my engineer to seal it. Saved a colony, ship with 8,000 souls aboard." The cantina had gone completely silent now. Even the background music seemed muted. "And this one?" Sarah indicated a particularly nasty scar that ran from her wrist halfway to her shoulder. "That's from the Battle of Kepler Station. When the Zephyrians overwhelmed our defenses, someone had to manually detonate the charges that brought down their dreadnought. Someone had to stay behind to make sure the detonator worked." The Catherian scales had paled to a sickly yellow-green. "Yursu, you died?" "Technically, yes. For about 4 minutes. Medical nanites brought me back, but not before the station's collapse took my ship and most of my crew." Sarah's voice remained level, but something cold had crept into her eyes. "Each scar has a story. Each story has a cost." She reached into her jacket and withdrew a small metal container. The clink of metal on metal rang clearly in the silent bar as she opened it. Inside, nestled in worn velvet, lay dozens of dog tags, military identification discs that belonged to fallen comrades. "These belong to the crew of the Resolute," she said, her fingers touching each tag with reverence. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, who died manning the guns when our shields failed. Ensign Kim, who suffocated in a damaged EVA suit while repairing our communications array. Chief Petty Officer Washington, who took a plasma bolt meant for me." She lifted another section of the container. "The crew of the Defiant, the Marines from Echo Company, the pilots of the 47th Fighter Wing, the engineers who kept the reactor stable while Zirion Prime burned around them." The Catherian had backed away, his earlier bravado completely evaporated. Around the bar, other patrons, many of them veterans themselves, stood in silent respect. "You see?" Sarah continued, closing the container carefully. "Humans don't collect scars because we're careless or weak. We collect them because when the universe throws its worst at us, when death itself comes calling, we don't step aside. We don't hide behind others. We stand in the fire and hold the line, no matter the cost. She stood up, tucking the dog tags back into her jacket. Every scar I carry is a life I saved, a mission I completed, a stand I made. They're not marks of weakness. They're proof that when everything was on the line, I was there. The Catherian stammered something that might have been an apology, but Sarah was already walking away. At the door, she paused and looked back. The next time you see scars on a human, remember this. We don't get them by accident. We earn them, by choice. We choose to stand between the innocent and the darkness, between civilization and chaos. We choose to bleed so others don't have to. She left the cantina in absolute silence. Outside, the stars looked down on Proxima Station, and somewhere among them, human ships continued their eternal watch, crewed by men and women who understood that some things were worth bleeding for. In the cantina, no one laughed at scars anymore. They drank in quiet contemplation, and more than a few raised their glasses in a silent toast to the warriors who carried their wounds like medals of honor and their fallen like sacred trust. The universe was a dangerous place, but as long as humans stood guard, some things, freedom, hope, the innocent would always be protected. The scars were just the price of keeping that promise.